handful of other games were like down to 24.
I'm
I'm like that just
yeah, I might
came
get
out.
Catherine for 24.
Yeah.
We're
So
live, by the way. I just clicked the thing
yeah, that's
just to
all.
get us going. Um, what have I picked up? I got Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning in today from GameFly for 15. So I installed that. I took out Mortal Kombat, which all I did was install that also. And then I jumped on Mafia. GameFly had Mafia for 15. Right now with everything, my backlog is like so crazy. It's like
Yeah.
15 is just about my only, because I'm literally into Final Fantasy 15 at this point. So between that and Halo, those are my free. All right, now we're done with games played. It's great. Oh, I'm glad we could do that.
I've got gosh, I've got so many games over here that just need to be played.
You got me nervous now about Game of the Year, like you had less than or more than 5 picked out.
I
You had
did, but
more?
I mean, I can quickly, or less than.
Oh, what did you have? I can do 3.
Well, I can actually work with that. It'll be easy if we do five. I can actually,
Remember, this is loose. This is not.
yeah,
Halo is one of mine because I talk about Halo every week, and it did come out this year, so it's just it's a
yeah.
real loose thing. So I wouldn't stress. Spoilers for everybody in the pre-show. Halo's one of them. I saw we had one person watching, and then they backed out. They were like, "No, fuck this shit. Not these two again." Yeah, there's our go live.
Um,
I'm on Wi-Fi again. Did you listen to the whole last episode?
yeah.
Were there any bad
Uh,
glitches?
no, there was one part where it did kind of like the audio slowed down for just a
Yeah.
second, and it was like a little digitized. There was just one spot, and I think it was because it might have been the connection, but I think all of us or two of us tried to like talk at the same time, and it got kind of
Gotcha.
muddled. So, but it was fine. I didn't notice any big hiccups or anything.
I cut out the part where I froze and Cesar delivered a punchline, and then I came back and I responded to the first part incorrectly, and then he did the punchline again. So I just cut it out to where it it matched up. And then I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's the end of the Super Mario interview. That's fine. But that's the only thing I saw. Like I always look over the waveform, and that's the only thing I saw that was like that I knew was kind of fucked. So
Yeah,
Sarzar Velkomen
Guten,
and our
guten
one
Tag.
viewer.
Or,
that's that's me at least.
Yo, Tambien. I don't know why it always gets the count off, but I don't know, man. A good friend of mine, friend of the show that jumps on with us, her significant other has been streaming nonstop on Twitch for like
Oh
months and
wow.
months and months, and hit affiliate and all that kind of stuff. And he's just now getting to a payout number that, the way I look at, I mean, I know we're using it. I know we're using it as a platform to grow our brand, but as I look at that number, that's not the way to go. You got to be a ninja or somebody like that, you know.
Yeah, you really got to be pulling a lot of numbers.
I mean, he has a fan base and everything that tune in for his streams, and
He's popular with the kids too. So
yeah, that he is. Sarsar's got a big cup of Joe. Cesar Hawks were up 3 last time I looked.
yeah, today they're actually playing Brooklyn. They're actually playing a good team
Are
today.
you streaming? All right, so there's a weird thing that I've noticed on Spectrum. The other night I was watching, I guess it was Sunday Night Football, or it might have been Monday. When did the Hawks play last? Monday night?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it wasn't last night.
So I
I
was
don't
trying to
think.
flip between Monday Night Football and the Hawks. So it's this HelloFresh commercial, and then a Warby Parker commercial starts. And I'm like, okay, they're in a commercial break. Then it goes, I think it's going back to the Hawks game, and it just sits there and buffers. I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I go back to football to make sure it's not my connection, and I'm watching football fine. Like it immediately is HD source, all that kind of stuff. I hit back again, and it goes I see the end of HelloFresh, and then Warby Parker, and then buffering. I'm like, what the fuck is
Yeah.
this? Tonight, I tried to watch the Hawks. HelloFresh, Warby Parker, buffering. Like, how does a channel get stuck on that? On one was Apple TV, the other's a Roku. Like, how does that happen? I guess it's within their Spectrum app.
that is weird.
Glitchy shit.
you have an exclusive because I think they don't offer Fox Sports on anything now streaming.
So I get it with my. I mean, that's kind of a big deal with my cable because that's Braves. That's in a normal year or season. That's 162 games. So that's the only reason I really pay for cable.
Yeah, I have a NBA subscription, so I pay like $12.99.
And it doesn't black out Hawks games for you. It's a non-region thing.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not fucked over. Like
yeah, I looked at that for baseball. It's like, okay, this is all I really need, and it blacks out all local stations. Okay, but my local station's a cable. It's a cable network. How does that happen?
I have to pay more money for the higher tier. That's the only problem. Instead of it being like $6.99 a month, it's like $12.99 a month, and it still blacks out anything that's on ESPN or ABC or TNT, which it doesn't matter because I have those anyway.
I hate TV. So. It sucks, man.
It's not like MLB where MLB is like any local game you're fucked.
Yeah, so. You like as a Braves fan, you literally cannot watch the Braves unless you're
living outside of Georgia.
You got to be outside the region.
Yeah, even then, I think even with a zip code close by, you still
like Braves
screwed,
country, like Alabama or North Florida or South Carolina, or Tennessee, you're still screwed.
You have to be like dead set in fucking Yankees territory. You still get screwed when you're Mets territory. Apparently, you get grandfathered in. So.
Oh, the joys of territorial sports. I need to write down these games. I'm gonna forget. So, sorry, you jotted down. How many games of the year did you jot down?
I just without any specific one. I'm gonna do something different this year. I'm just gonna list my top game and then I list out everything that was meaningful to me. I think I have like 15 games.
Oh shit! All right, Brent, Brent was prepared for like 2 or 3.
I don't, but it's not gonna be like I'm sitting here like explaining each 15 game. I'm just gonna list it off and explain the top 3 that I like or something like that. So
that works.
No, this year's a little anomaly because I played a shit ton of games this year. So.
You did get them in. I'm just doing I know traditionally we've done 5. MMC.
We can do 5. I'm fine with that. I got enough for 5.
Yeah, but you can rattle off your honorable mentions. I know you played a ton of games. It would almost be a disservice if you did less than 5. If you did only 5, is what I meant.
I mean, if you want, I could rattle off what I played and then we just talk about the top 5. I'm fine with that. I'm not going to go into detail on all of them anyways because we'll be here all night.
Yeah, there's a year's worth of content. If you want to hear our thoughts on these games, there's a year's worth of content to go back and listen to.
Nah. It's whatever y'all want to do. I'm game. Oh, but this son of a bitch came in though.
I'll jot these down real quick. I always forget something.
This fucker finally came in from the UK. Took forever.
8 remaster physical. That cover art looks good.
It's good as fuck. Oh, it's worth the $15. I thought it was lost in the mail forever.
Damn, I have 3 written down too, Brent. I've been kicking this around forever. I had more than that. Quarantine games. Oh yeah, that's it. I'm gonna throw an honorable mention in there for Assessor.
Oh.
Just for you. If I could spell mention correctly. Mention. Yes, change it to water. That's what I meant. Sure.
Yeah, because I just looked at my PlayStation played list. Hopefully they'll do like one of those journey things like they did last year. But I think my top 4 games all had at least 80 hours this year. So this is the most I played this year, most definitely.
In a long time, right?
Probably ever. If I was gonna retire, this is the year I go out and I'll be fucking
2020. Top year.
I'll come back with I'll come back into 4 or 5 later with the next generation.
Playing for the Bullets / Wizards.
Yeah, and then become a part owner and then move to Charlotte. And just no offense to you, Jordan, but suck ass when I mean. pigs
become a meme
constantly for the next 10 years.
Here I am thinking we're gonna have a light news cycle again, and there's Brant dropping the damn hammer.
Oh,
Yeah, this would
it's
be the
not
one to have a
bad.
light one.
This is pretty easy stuff to talk about.
All that matters is King of Fighters 13 is happening right now.
I was gonna say I just saw that come across.
That's all I care about.
I missed one of these
Like
stories.
this whole week, I'm just been playing nonstop fighting games and shooters. Nonstop.
I have to find a way to mute your trophies because you get trophies at like 2 o'clock in the morning. My phone's going off. I'm like, what is even happening?
It's only because I'm on vacation. After that, I normally sleep normal hours. My bad. My achievements inconvenience you. So
Spam.
usually I don't ever. I have my notifications on silent. I've never missed it since then. So I usually just occasionally look at my phone, and if I miss something, I miss something. But I never have anything in past silent myself.
Like,
that's just me.
And I'm glancing over like, what am I missing? Cesar Bronze, PS5, hashtag PS5 share, hashtag trophy. And then your like 30-second clip.
Nah, when's the last time we missed something overnight? I mean, we got the next gen console, so we're good at this point, right?
Yeah, the only thing I can think of would be a price glitch on something.
Yeah, but that's been pretty tame in the last couple years.
Yeah. Not since like the Paperwhite. I think there's been a good price glitch.
That or what's that damn
The GameFly.
Prime
Remember
Day.
the GameFly sales used to sell out really fast. If you didn't jump on that stuff quick.
Most people don't buy physical anymore, man. The only thing that sells out quick is a Switch game. That's what. So
That might be what it is. And I haven't been buying a whole bunch of those. I tend to get those Nintendo ones when they drop to 40, and that's about it. Did your limited run stuff come in, Cesar?
what it came in?
I got Grandia.
Oh, my Grandia, yes. I mean, the stuff I got in today.
Grandia.
I think we're GameFly. I got Dirt. I haven't played it yet though.
You got Dirt for 30 something, whatever it dropped to.
Mm-hmm. I like racing games. So racing games, fighting games, shoot 'em ups, RPGs, visual novels.
Did we all jump on the?
Did
we all jump on the $30 Immortal Phoenix Rising?
I did not. I hesitated.
No, I did.
I had a $5 thing, and I was like,
even with the $5 thing, I was like, this is gonna be $20. I'm gonna be pissed in like 3 months when I still haven't played it. I knew what was gonna happen.
I did it
so I was like,
I thought I was satisfied with the Stadia demo, but now I want to see it actually running on PS5. It's like, I was the
Go
meme.
for it.
I was the meme with the girl like,
Yeah.
No, more power to you. I didn't do it this time though.
I mean,
For
that's
once.
the price of that thing. It just keeps plummeting.
What
so
happened?
I mean,
Because everybody seems to like it. Is it just not selling?
I don't know.
It's a Ubisoft thing. We do this every year. We're always like, oh, this game must suck. I mean, the other one was what Ghost Recon took forever, but when it went down, it went down to $10. So $5 the last time I checked, or $7.99 or some shit like that.
I gifted 2 copies for Christmas for $4 a piece.
Mm-hmm.
Under the guise of let's all play together. It's $4.
They never do. Here's a gift we can all enjoy. Fuck you. As they open it up, sorry, we're the only one here by ourselves.
If they hit me up, I'll play. You know how it goes. You got to catch me. All right, y'all ready to hit the ground running?
Let's
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
do it.
No, my Grandia did come in.
Brant, thanks for numbering the episode so I don't trip all over that again.
Oh yeah, something about.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 140 of the NOFODcast. We are No Outside Food or Drink, the Southeast premier video game podcast. Tonight, there's more news than expected once again as Brant has come through, the newsmaster. Sony's Japan Studios departures. Famitsu interviews give us high hopes for 2021. PS5 faceplates are on the way. We have your January PlayStation Plus titles. Galgun, which I've heard is a pervy game, returns for Xbox. DualSense adaptive triggers have been breaking on PlayStation 5 controllers. Gasp. And we have your annual NOFODcast 2020 Games of the Year edition, which will apparently vary between 3 games that we all enjoyed and 15 plus games that one of us enjoyed. I'm Richard Bergman, joined tonight by Brant McKee.
Just realized I left off a word in one of those news stories.
Did departures help?
No, it's the Galgun Returns for Xbox is canceled.
Oh, God. That doesn't help. It's still a pervy game, though. I added that bit to it.
Yes,
that's Brant McKee. Also here is Cesar Concepcion II, CMC2.
That'd be me, yo.
I appreciate the audio acknowledgement for our actual podcast listeners, those that are not joining us live. Even though you should be, every Wednesday night, 8-ish, we get started. You should be joining us live for this video presentation that's both thrilling and awe-inspiring. Any other adjectives y'all want to throw in there? Is it they both research vividly something?
Nope. I was okay with your adjectives. So
well, let's go with it. That was fine.
Anything to
breathtaking.
I literally just woke up 15 minutes prior.
Drinking cafe. Hey, we had Christmas since the last episode. Everybody have a good a gaming Christmas. Did you get anything of note?
Yeah, Christmas was pretty good. I know Cesar will appreciate these.
Days Gone.
No Days Gone.
Oh.
But it's Konosuba.
Oh yeah, is it light novel or is it the manga?
The manga.
Oh, it's a Megumin's side story, right?
Side story. Yep. And that was part of my present.
Very nice.
Go down the hole.
But Christmas was very, very good. My kid cleaned up. He got all sorts of games for his Switch.
Yeah. The 2DS, new 2DS XLs in our household were a big hit. They're way better at Mario Kart than I thought they were going to be. I'm watching them play 50cc and win the races. I'm like, okay, without using items. They don't know how to use the left trigger. But they're getting there. And I told you guys last week about the Lego Mario set. We started building that. That is really, really cool. There's an app that you download with it that'll actually, we all built Legos as kids. It'll show you how to build the pieces in 3D. Like you can pivot the 3D model on the screen on the iPad, and it walks you step by step how to do stuff. And it's really more involved than I thought it was going to be as far as building courses and things like that. The little Mario has like a camera or something on the bottom of him, and he can sense whether he's on grass, like you have green blocks. He can sense if he's on grass, the fire's the red blocks, and water's the blue ones. And you build the courses accordingly to that. So you set him down on the warp pipe, and it starts like the course you've made. And he's got a little 60-second countdown timer. At the very end, you've got the flag that has another little beacon thing that his feet will read. But all along the way, you hop along Goombas and jump on the little pivot things that go across fire and that kind of stuff. Like it's a course however you want to create it. So then the crazy collector in me starts pricing out the different add-ons and things like that you can get. I'm like, because they're having so much fun building them. They love like going through each step, and I didn't think it was going to take off the way it did, and they're really, really digging it. It is super cool. It's got that Nintendo polish, you know. I don't know that I was expecting that. I should, you know, they've never given me any reason not to expect that Nintendo flair to it, but this has it through and through, man. So we're looking at some of those other sets and gonna add those on. I got a Star Wars Bridge Crew from friend of the show Russell, who raved about it on this very show for months and months and months. So now I probably have to try that on PlayStation VR.
You just gotta hook it up.
It's hooked up.
I'm
actually thinking about moving my PS4 Pro over to another side to have like a dedicated VR, and that'll be like a good VR scenario. Any other gaming stuff? I got some Mario ornaments. Always a good thing. Yeah, we dropped off there for a minute, I think. Yep, back on the Wi-Fi connection. A little jank here and there. At least it wasn't anything major.
No, we lost everything. Damn it.
I thought you were frozen. You were just sitting really still.
Yep, I'm just blending in with the environment that I've been given.
He can blend in. He speaks 1,000 languages. He'll be lost.
Call me the Brody in the area.
Marcus Brody. Let's get to this news. Sony Japan loses. This comes from Video Games Chronicle. Sony Japan loses more talent as Bloodborne and Demon Souls producer announces exit. This is somebody who's worked on Team Silent and Gravity Rush, which I guess is Team Silent still. Teruyuki Toriyama has announced he's set to leave Sony Interactive Entertainment Japan Studio at the end of 2020. He also worked on Astrobot Rescue Mission and Soul Sacrifice. Does it say where he's going?
I believe he's got his own project. A lot of these people are either leaving their own or leaving to have their own company, or they're joining just other small companies and things like that. But it seems like Sony Japan is losing a lot of people, and that's, again, it goes back to the speculation of whether Sony is kind of trying to lean more heavily into the Western audience. But I don't know. I mean, sometimes people just want to change. I don't know if it's necessarily that, people freaking out saying, Sony's abandoning Japan or they're focusing more on us or whatever. Sometimes people just want to change. It's sad to see him go because especially, I mean, Astrobot Rescue Mission was a great game. And to have a lot of these people that we talked about Gravity Rush and Silent Hill director
Keiichi Toyama also announced this month to form a new studio, which is making a horror action adventure game. So that could be good. It's funny with Japanese like salarymen, you either see them at the same company for like 50 years, or they toil away and then they do like nonstop contract work. Like Uematsu is one that it comes to mind. There's a bunch of those Square composers that they just churned out soundtrack after soundtrack after soundtrack, and then they still work on them. They're just contract work now. They're not actual Square employees. Who else? Toyama formed Boya Game Studios with Junya Okura, lead designer on the Gravity Rush series, and Kazunobu Sato, lead designer of 2013's PS3 exclusive Puppeteer, which I loved. That's an amazing game. And they note that they were at Sony for 2 decades. All right, best of luck to them. Anything else we want to add to that?
No. Yeah, most of those. I mean, you have the guy was who just did the last Monster Hunter just left Capcom. So
did it say where he's
that
going?
Exodus for a lot. He did his own studio. They're all going to do their own thing. Yeah. Most of it to do. Most people seem to leave for creative freedom.
Yeah.
I mean, because remember the guy who did Final Fantasy 15, he didn't want to do another Final Fantasy, but that's what they kept pushing him to do again. So a lot of those big people leave so they can just kind of do their own thing.
People want a break, like Brent was saying, or they're not allowed to make what they want to make, and the fan base is clamoring for something, and like, no, nobody wants Silent Hill. It's like, yeah, a lot of people want Silent Hill. Let's go make it somewhere else. It seems like name escapes me. He went on to make Evil Within. It's like he wanted to top Resident Evil 4. Is that Hideki Kiyama, or am I thinking of somebody else?
That's somebody else.
Name escapes me.
Hideki, I think he might have been the Devil May Cry guy.
I was about to say, it's like the Platinum Games dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
Next up, before we fumble over any other Japanese names, Famitsu interviews Japanese creators on 2021 ambitions. This comes from Gamatsu. I'm not sure about the story. Brand, if you want to handle this one.
Basically, it's a bunch of interviews with a bunch of different developers, publishers from all these different companies.
They're outlining their buzzwords for the next year.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's always like we promise to make this game, or we don't have this game coming out. Look forward to my next project be next year. It's always
Please
vague.
Be excited.
Yeah, this may or may not happen.
But I
may not have an update on Token Ring, but we'll have another game coming out that year.
But I mean, the biggest thing here is, I mean, Token Ring.
You like my play on words there?
Elden Ring.
That's probably the episode.
Token Ring. Yeah.
Token Ring.
You're welcome with my Lord of the Rings reference there, mixed with Any From Software
Yeah, I was
bullshit.
about to say it's a From Software joint, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So we're finally at the end of 2020. We're hoping 2021 will be a lot better. This whole year has impacted the game industry, uh, as well as everybody else, and so we're everybody's got pretty high hopes for 2021. There's been some big announcements already for things coming in 2021. So this is a bunch of different publishers talking about uh, all sorts of different plans, or like you guys said, buzzwords, be excited, things. But I mean, we have some big things from like let's see, from like Atlas. They talk about Shimagami Tensei 5. They're working hard to develop, make it a better
Yeah,
product.
his keyword was think outside the box. The next one is silence.
Yeah, keyword silence.
Was that like head down, work on
Yeah, pretty
important
much.
phase of development?
Actually, out of all these ones, my favorite one is from Platinum Games from Hideki Kamiya, which we were just talking about. Which he's like
he
his
copy
keywords,
pasted.
Yeah, he just copy pasted from 2020 comment, which was Bayonetta 3. Exact same thing he did from last year. And then he goes, also Project GG Title 10 investment finally started moving, so please look forward to it. That one in the Yu Suzuki, where he's like keywords for 2021 shooting/RPG. What he wants to do is reflect on head-to-head battles and sequel. A sequel to what? I don't
Space
know.
Harrier.
I'm assuming Shenmue
That
4.
sounds like Space Harrier to me.
But I mean, they're a lot of these. I mean, they're just looking to rebuild or investing in the future, and it's a lot of these, like you guys said, a lot of these buzzwords, and they're looking to do a lot of grand things. I was looking for the one because there was something about one of these companies having and hinting towards the what was it? The anniversary of one of their titles. I can't remember it. I'm trying to look.
What big anniversary? Oh, 25th anniversary. Here we go. Kazuhisa Owada from Atlas. Persona 25th anniversary.
There we go.
Is that the
There we
one you
go.
were looking
Yeah. So yeah, the anniversary of Atlas with Persona. I mean, they saw a huge success with putting Persona 4 Golden on Steam.
Yep.
And Persona 1 through 3 and a bunch of the other like little side spin-offs have been locked to PlayStation forever. So, I mean, if they do some kind of big Persona collection or just bring those games to Steam or elsewhere, I think that would be pretty big for them.
What you meant, since you strung out that word, what you meant was PlayStation Forever, not PlayStation 4. Like a lot of them are not playable PlayStation 4 even. So you're talking 2 generations back at this point.
That are like 3 or 4 years old.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, I'm looking at Persona 2 right now on PSP. So
they're expensive. And can you still get those? Well, they're making it harder to get the digital ones. And then you got to have a PSP or a Vita or a PS. Now you got to have a PS3 to load it, anyways. Another anniversary that was mentioned, Brand, I don't know if this was the one you were looking at, was my article reset. Fatal Frame. 2021 is the 20th anniversary of the Fatal Frame series. So I'd like to celebrate it in some way if possible. It'd be awesome to get a Fatal Frame collection on something, right?
Yeah, the last time they were talking about any new Fatal Frame coming out, they were like, "Ask Nintendo," and that was the last thing they said.
I know, it sucks.
Yeah.
The worst thing than being stuck on a PlayStation platform is being stuck on some old ass Wii or some old Nintendo hardware. It may never come back.
Yeah, whatever deal they got with Nintendo on the future Fatal Frame games is locked up on. So.
Yep.
And aside from that, I mean, you have like Square talking about their Bravely Default 2 and their ambitions for that, as well as more story content in the future of Final Fantasy VII remake, more content for that, Nier and things like that. So there's this humongous dearth of games and other things we've got hopefully coming in the new year to make next year a great year.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is just a pretty decent handful of Japanese developers. I mean, we're not even talking about everybody here in the West, and this like it we have Ratchet and Clank coming. We've got God of War. We've got hopefully we'll see more on a few games like Perfect Dark. We're getting Halo next year,
We hope.
and so yes. So I think next year will hopefully be a big year for games, and hopefully all the pandemic thing just kind of we get everything under control, and we can get back to playing and socializing like we're used to.
Yeah.
Stop all the downloading.
Go back to physical. What would be you guys? They all put down a buzzword or a buzz phrase for 2021. What would be yours for next year? I'm gonna
Sleep.
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 Yep.
I'm gonna go with survive. Just want to survive.
I guess I'll stay true to form. Days Gone.
Days Gone.
There we go.
Cesar, how was yours? Not watch more anime.
I don't know if I can possibly watch any more anime.
It's not possible. You're already living the mantra.
I've already like turned out real stuff. I've just watched basketball and anime. I'm like the worst version of a reality show.
But are you watching the anime about basketball?
Is there one?
Yes.
There's several.
There's several.
There's Slam Dunks in one of them. There's a lot of them that are Shonen Jump based. So one that's Dengeki Bunku based as well.
It's like Shonen Jump like sports teams.
Yeah, their big one is the volleyball one that's showing right now on TV.
Next up in news, this comes from WCCF Tech, Francisco de Mayo. We talked a couple weeks about PlayStation.
Not to get confused with Cinco de Mayo, right? Hi-yo.
Or the games Day Cinco. Weren't we going to plan on playing a bunch of Cinco games, Cesar?
Every 5th of the month.
Viva Pinata.
Every 5th of the month, we'll stream a 5.
Final Fantasy 5 next month. Let's go.
Viva Pinata 5? Is that what Brant mentioned? Is there a 5th Viva Pinata, or did we stop at 4?
I don't know.
Is there even 4? I thought it was like 3 of them.
There's 2 for 360. There's 1 for DS at least. Is that it?
It might have been 2 for DS. I can't remember.
2 for DS, maybe?
Maybe. They might have snuck in the second one.
We're due for another Viva Pinata. I think, especially with the popularity of Animal Crossing, I think people will play the shit out of Viva Pinata.
Yeah.
All right, PlayStation 5 custom faceplates announced by D-Brand, mass production to begin soon. We talked a couple weeks ago about PlayStation 5 and then whatever they rebranded themselves as, which was not as close, but they still got a cease and desist. In a new post on Reddit, the company confirmed that mass production of the custom faceplates will begin soon. It will become possible to order them only when stock will be available at the company's Toronto headquarters. As of now, they're focusing on the PlayStation 5 matte black faceplate, but additional colors may come down the line. That looks pretty good, man.
It does.
That would make a matching looking system. Would you guys consider getting one of these?
I've signed up for alerts because I'm somewhat interested.
That looks damn good. Look at that. You can. Their website has like a 3D spinning console.
Yeah.
It makes the since we're used to seeing how the PlayStation 5 looks now, it almost looks like the all chocolate Oreo or something. It looks sharp though. It's snazzy.
Yeah.
How much
it does look nice.
How much are they going to be? Did they say?
No.
$1 million.
Check this out.
No talk on pricing. They don't seem to have any Sony branding on them whatsoever. And I think they even basically demanded Sony to try and sue them after coming out and saying that they've been working on this for a while and they've got them in production and they'll be announcing when they're going to go up for sale soon. So
yeah. I like this bit in their press release. I thought we were gonna not talk about that one particular game with all the bugs. We'll be entering mass production on PS5 faceplates by year's end. However, we won't be accepting orders until we have our stock at Toronto HQ ready to ship. If CD Projekt Red has taught us anything, it's that selling products before they're finished is a bad idea. There you go.
Hi-oh.
There's your Cyberpunk update for the week.
yeah.
We had to get one in there somehow, right?
Yep. All right, that sounds good. Look forward to plates. I'll see if it burns up anybody's systems first. This could be round 2 of the after cooler or whatever they call it, intercooler from the 360 days that would catch. It's supposed to cool down your 360s and it was catching people's systems on fire. Your PlayStation 5, your PlayStation Plus games for January have been announced, and this is a damn good month. We talked about Xbox last month. This is another great month for PlayStation. You're gonna get.
They upped the ante for once.
What's that now?
So they upped the ante.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
You get
Figured they dropped the ball.
Your PlayStation 5 exclusive is Maneater, a game I specifically bought to play on PlayStation 5. So it's interesting. Now we get it for free. Wonderful.
I'll take the no
Is
CD.
that-
Yeah, exactly. The permanent license. We get Shadow of the Tomb Raider. That does not look like Definitive Edition from what I can tell. So that'll leave the door open for them to sell you a little bit of DLC. So sorry, you really enjoyed that one if I remember right.
Murder Simulator. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like as much as it broke her in that first
Oh.
game, she like doesn't give a shit in this one now, right?
I mean, there's a point in there where she was straight killed up people. I was like, damn, I don't remember Laura Croft being this. I mean, she came out of the water and straight murdered people, man. It was like,
Like Predator.
yeah, basically, it was like fucking Rambo. Like she went full
Yeah.
on. I was like, damn, what the hell am I watching? It was not in the spirit of Laura
like
Croft, where it's kind of like ho hum.
Change the tone of this character a little bit.
Yeah. And then something plot twist, something happens, and then the reason why she did it for no reason. So I was like, she just straight murdered somebody for no reason. So,
Blood on her hands.
and she was cool with it. I was like, we're gonna go full Uncharted on it. Let's go.
As he jokes and quips along his way of murdering thousands of people over the course of the 4 or 5 games. And your last game is Greedfall. Another one Cesar was excited about was Spider Studios or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
All games will be available until Monday, February 1st. Greedfall is this comes from the PlayStation blog, stunning action RPG, explore uncharted new lands as you set foot on a remote island seeping with magic filled with riches, lost secrets, and fantastic creatures. You'll have complete freedom to shape your abilities, spells, and skills and decide whether to complete objectives with combat, diplomacy, deception, or stealth. That is a pretty big get. I think it's on Game Pass currently, too, if I remember right. I think Shadow of the Tomb Raider is as well. So it's kind of their service, it's just cycling through. It'll probably be on the Humble Bundle choice here pretty soon, too. They all cycle together. I'll definitely be giving Maneater a shot. Is there any... No, it's a single-player game. So what's their get for this? What do they get out of that? Just exposure? And the fact that it's already pretty cheap now?
Try to separate themselves from the Hall & Oates song.
Yeah, Hall & Oates is...
Or from the Appaloosa-developed Jaws Unleashed for Xbox and PS2?
That as well.
I've watched some gameplay of that. I did get it to try it out, so I'm intrigued to get the CD key version, as Cesar refers to it as.
Oh, the no CD key.
No CD key.
Those were my my PC days where I had to I'm tired of putting CDs in there. Download no CD keys.
I remember those days.
I own the game. I just
Yeah.
didn't want to fucking change.
Somebody
the
comes
disc,
after
so.
you, you're like, look, I got a hard copy. It is what it is. Here's Brant's typo. I'm gonna let Brant take his Galgun story.
Galgun
Galgun's coming to Xbox, or not?
Yeah, so we had actually reported on this, several weeks ago. Yeah. And this comes from Gamatsu via Sal Romano reporting on this.
Sal.
So what's crazy about this is they put out this statement. Inti creates the cancellation of the Xbox One release of Galgun Returns. Today we would like to announce that we will no longer be releasing Galgun Returns on Xbox family of consoles as a remaster of the original Galgun. We wanted to strive to ensure that we stayed true to the spirit of the first entry.
Whatever they may be.
Yeah. While development of the Xbox version was complete and the master ROM under review, it became apparent after productive discussion with Microsoft we would be unable to ensure consistency of experience across all platforms. So
This sounds like a Fallout from you know what.
So basically, it sounds like they were going to censor, which is why this game probably isn't coming to Sony's console as well. Which, when we reported on this originally, we had talked about that Microsoft's just like, that's what ESRB's for. We'll let them handle it, but
Pervy Games.
it seems like maybe they sat down with Microsoft and Microsoft was like, we don't like this or this. Can you do that?
Microsoft finally played it and figured out what it was. So
Yeah.
that's exactly what it was. I mean, at this point, Microsoft's like, yeah, put your games on our console, and somebody actually sat down and played this. Like,
wait, no, you got to see this one. You actually got to see this one. Did anybody order the birthday suit edition?
No.
Okay. I see that down in the news.
But yes, after the productive talks, they decided that it wasn't, they couldn't stay true to form with their game, and decided, even after all the work, after it was 100% complete, that they're pulling it. But they wanted to say that it is still coming to PC and Switch.
The Wild West PC.
The Wild West Switch. Who would have thought Nintendo got all the naughty games? And Final Fantasy VII. They said it would never happen.
Yeah.
And Night Trap.
I was just about to say Night Trap.
I still remember that. Was it Giant Bombs, where Jeff Grossman was talking about where he went into that that hotel room on accident. Somebody's just in there in their underwear playing Switch. He's making fun. It's like, yeah, they're probably playing Galgun. Gotta check out my girls. That's in their boxers in the bed.
They assigned him the wrong hotel room. He just walked in on somebody playing Switch.
Yeah.
Their underwear.
In his boxers. He's making a joke like, yeah, they're probably on there playing Galgun or something like that. I gotta check out my girls.
It's fine.
Don't mind me.
You do you, sir. It's fine. I'm just gonna close this door.
He's like, there's nothing wrong with those games on there. He's just like, I'm just imagining that's what was happening. If that's your thing, he's like, go for it. But
in a hotel with no clothes on, just your underwear. All right, last story bit. PS5 users complain of broken DualSense adaptive triggers, but how widespread is the problem? If you want a PS5, this comes from hothardware.com. Never linked a story from them, Brant. So this is a good one. Broke this on Christmas Eve.
Somebody got mad enough where they're like, fuck this shit.
So yeah, the real story doesn't pick up until after that little clip from that video.
I'm scrolling through everything. All right, so it's now slightly looser for somebody?
Yeah, so what it is there's several people reporting of trigger malfunctions or breaking completely. This was the only reason I picked this one is because I looked over several stories, and none of the major outlets even covered this, and this was the best coverage I could find.
Where's your major outlet covering the DualSense breakage, the widespread?
And I think it's just because it comes from different things like Reset Era and Reddit and all these different little things.
Hotbeds of the internet, of video game internet.
Yeah. So one user reported that he was playing Miles Morales. He was swinging around as Miles, and then R2, he felt a snap, and the trigger became looser. It was as if whatever was causing the trigger to resist broke, is basically what he said.
Like he was fighting against that, whatever pressure was given in it, and it snapped on that.
Just completely stopped. And then somebody else, it was a Redditor, about 1 week into playing Demon Souls, noticed his R2 trigger abruptly started activating under the slightest touch, or even when he just kind of moved the controller around. Inspecting the outside of the controller, R2 trigger is significantly looser than L2. And the slightest jiggle, it would just kind of rattle in place. And it goes through, there's a few of these, I guess, around the internet, people talking. They're kind of attributing it to, I don't know if any of you have also kind of taken apart a DualShock, and there's that weird little kind of like like V-shaped spring in there at the
The
trigger to
last,
give it some kind of
the last one I
resistance.
took apart was a DualShock 3,
Gotcha.
Same here.
and it did not go well.
That's a real pain in the ass to put back together. I had went in there and changed the battery, and it was not an easy thing.
I'll be honest, when GameStop shipped me a defective PS3 that I had purchased, I sent them the defective controller along with it and kept the good one. So there's my backstory on fixing my DualShock 3 controller.
But there's a kind of like a V-shaped little spring. It's one tiny little thin piece of metal that comes down, wraps around a couple times, and then comes back up. And it sits in a little groove to cause a little bit of tension. But
they have those in the PS3 controllers as well. I just don't think it's as wound up as it is.
Yeah, they've got those in the PS5 as well, as well as that same kind of like mechanism that's got some of the. It looked like they were like little plastic gears and things in there. If you've seen the teardown of a DualSense, and a lot of people had speculated when they got their hands on the DualSense that with a lot of these pieces just being made out of this tiny little plastic, is there a big possibility for a high rate of failure in these adaptive triggers? Right. And I mean, you would think Sony's quality control, they probably rigged up some machine with a DualSense sitting right there and like a little mechanism to just continuously press the trigger
like the chairs at IKEA
until it breaks.
You see that little booth in IKEA and the thing's just sitting on it over and over. We sat on this chair 500,000 times.
Because you would think that they would do that to test potential rate of failure. And just like anything we've talked about before, it's relatively new hardware. There were Xboxes and PS5s and all these other things that had malfunctions or just didn't work properly. Yeah. I'm sure it's the same with these controllers. They mass produced millions and millions and millions. You're probably going to have a couple bad ones.
How long's the warranty on them? Do y'all remember? Is it 1 year?
I don't know. I actually do not remember.
Yeah.
It's usually about a year.
I'm not worried about it because of that reason that you're saying, Brant. I haven't noticed any difference in it. It seems to be a really sturdy, well-built controller.
Yeah, I definitely haven't had a problem. And I mean, it sucks, but yeah, that's what the warranty's for. And
just while we're on this, have you guys ever had like major controller failures across your gaming careers? Like, have you just burned them up where you had to replace them and such?
Honestly, the only console that I've had some problems with the controllers have been PS4. I've got a controller sitting over here next to me that for some reason worked fine, and then all of a sudden the D-pad just doesn't want to work anymore.
How many hours would you say you have on it?
It's probably the controller I've had since the console's release. And I mean, I don't play it like super heavy, but I do play on it a lot. Right. So
that PS3 controller that I mentioned, the circle button started to stick, so that's why I took it apart. Gosh. And that was probably something like, I don't think that was an actual failure in there. It was, I had a drink or something that spilled on the edge of it, or some coffee, or Cheeto dust, or something got down in there and gummed it up. It wasn't any sort of like hardware failure. I have Dreamcast controllers from early 2000s. I have 64. I have our original 2 gray and atomic purple 64 sticks. We never played Mario Party with them, so they're not damaged. We can still use them for anything. So I've never really encountered that. I know it happens. I know there's flukes because it's an electronic device with a board in it, and failures can happen. But I've never encountered anything like that before.
No, not unless I'm on that controller frequently. So unless I'm playing fucking Fight Night.
I do have a
stick breaker.
I do have one Xbox One controller now that we're saying that it will start creeping after a while. when you're playing with it, it'll just start moving you forward for some reason, like it's got a drift to it. And I've never had the Joy-Con drift either, so I mean that's a widely known phenomenon, but something to keep our eyes on, and see if this becomes a widespread thing. But it sure doesn't seem like it.
No, and I saw some people trying to claim, "Oh, this is going to be the next Joy-Con drift incident. It's going to be the PS5 adaptive triggers breaking left." I don't think it's going to be that widespread.
Yeah. Nope. All right, that's all the news. We're ready to get to our Games of the Year extravaganza.
Let's do it.
This pretty brief because I don't. How much do we have on Games Play? Do we have a lot to catch up on?
Mine's just fairly short.
Do we want to do that first?
Most of my games played might be on my Games of the Year list, so
so not too much of a summary.
I cross the streams a little bit.
I haven't progressed on one of them that's on my Games of the Year list. I haven't played anything but Halo. So, Brant, do you have a games played update for us?
I do.
Okay.
I actually have a few,
and then we'll do our Game of the Year discussion.
All right, so I started playing Shantae and Seven Sirens. I absolutely love the Shantae games.
But not this one because it wasn't on your Games of the Year list.
This one so far is so freaking amazing.
But not quite Game of the Year material.
I'm conflicted. I'm probably gonna put it on there.
Just because you're gonna wait.
Just because
2021.
Well, I mean, just because I just started it this week. I mean, and I'm not very far into it. I don't think I could technically really put it on the Game of the Year unless I've played it to its fullest and beaten it at least beaten the game, gotten to the end. But I'm enjoying it. This has got fully like, swear to God, it's like Shantae the anime, or like Shantae the Saturday morning cartoon kind of thing in these cutscenes, and they're so vibrant and they're done so well.
I mean, we know the studio did it. There's a reason why. So
yeah, but we know him personally, don't we?
Studio Trigger? I don't know about
that. Yeah, they're friends of the show.
Friends of the show. Man, we're gonna
sponsor.
Hashtag ad.
Yeah, but they add a couple new little things besides the normal dance to transform. There's a few new little power ups so far, and as the game suggests, there are 7 sirens. So those are
Spoilers.
What you have to like hunt down, and who are your biggest foes, at least what I'm doing. So I've gotten through 2, so I've got a good bit to go.
That was one thing I was worried about because most games I play they have to have the actual characters or villains in the title name, so I know what's going on. That's the first I'm looking for. Like, where are these sirens? And there better be 7 of them.
Otherwise, yeah.
Count the sirens.
How are you gonna know?
Pause and count.
Other than that, continued Miles Morales. I think I'm gonna platinum that.
Wow.
I'm actually pretty close. I'm missing 4 or 5 trophies, I think, maybe less.
The ones you looked at are easily obtainable.
Yeah, I just have to. There's one where it's like the 100 hit combo. I just have to find the right area to do that in.
I hate those ones. Damn.
And it's probably gonna be
because you get hit once, you got 80 hits, and you get hit once, and you're like, "Fuck this game."
Nope. It's like jumping rope on Final Fantasy 9. Nope, I don't like the counter ones.
I don't even need to break my right trigger. I don't even break my R2 triggers at that point. I fucking break the controller.
It would be broken if you didn't slam the controller against the wall.
Because so far I haven't had another like hard freeze or lockup or anything. Just enjoying that game.
Or like me with the headless Spider-Man that sent Richard.
Scarf's just floating around.
And then let's see, the only other game I've played this past week is Sackboy still, and
still a family favorite.
Yeah, hopefully by one more playthrough will get it done, but it's starting to hit its threshold of difficulty. It's actually starting to get pretty difficult, and playing with multiple people is both a blessing and a curse. I mean, because I'm playing my son who's 12, and then Katie who's okay at games, but it can be nice to have other people and kind of divide and conquer, and then other times it's like they're just constantly dying and taking down our life count. It's like, oh,
it's all
gosh,
fun and
guys,
games when you're just running around the opening areas when nothing's really difficult, but then when you have to cooperate, then they're screaming and yelling.
And some stuff I kind of neglected and just forgot about last week. When you complete a level, what's actually pretty cool is it, kind of gives everybody their rank, shows how much things everybody's collected and how well everybody's
sounds
done.
Like Super Mario 3D World.
And it gives
thing to reference.
It gives you a first, second, and third. I would assume a fourth if you've got another player. And the top player gets a little trophy depending on how well you did. So because you can rank bronze, silver, gold in the level depending on how many points you got. So the person that got first gets to run around with the trophy, and the other players, you can actually get hit by the other players and they can steal your trophy and stuff like that. But also, when it does give you that trophy, it goes yay, and it's like this little celebration, and then it counts down 3, 2, 1, and it takes a snapshot of what's going on at that moment, and puts like a little Polaroid next to the mission. Once you go out and you can see that it's completed, and you can see that little Polaroid. So I've got several ones where my character's just sitting there crying, and I got, Alan, my son's character's like all up in the camera and stuff like that. So that gets zany. And the one other thing is the music in this game. Because they use they use their own soundtrack as well as fully licensed music. So like, for instance, one of the last ones we did, we got into the level, and it might be an instrumental, but if it's a full-on licensed song, like this level was David Bowie, Let's Dance.
Oh,
that's a good one.
Yeah.
So when it's
the one with Mick Jagger,
but when you go into those levels and play, and the music's going, and the level is kind of all around that song, and so other things are going in the background. You see these giant like characters and stuff reacting to the song, or they're like singing to it or doing different things, and it just brings everything to life.
Damn,
and
now I want Sackboy.
It's so fun. It's so fun.
You had me a David Bowie.
You guys
I'm expecting a David Bowie simulator.
So, but there's other songs too, and like I said, there's some
like
that are
Omicron
instrumental.
Omicron.
The only game we never get a remaster of.
But yeah, those are my 3 games played. So I guess we can go on to games of the year.
Games of the decade.
I mean,
we could have done a games of the decade. Damn it.
Games of the decade.
Yeah. The only one I played was outside of my games of the year is I did get into that Virtual On rabbit hole.
How much of that did you do?
So I played the Masterpiece Collection on PS4, which has I think the first 3 games, the Sega Saturn one, and the first 2 on Sega Saturn, and then the Dreamcast one.
Virtual On.
I do enjoy it. When I fired the first one, they do have fucking Sega Saturns on their backs, and as they go through.
Hell yeah.
I forgot all about that.
You've been playing a lot of stuff with Sega stuff in the background. I feel like a big Sega announcement is on its way.
No, it's just a lot of that shit's been on sale on the PlayStation Store in Japan, so I've just been buying Japanese PSN cards and just download them, because like that's Virtual One we never got here, and it was digital only. And then I had Certain Magical Index Virtual One. I bought that and played a little bit of that, and somehow ended up with every Virtual On game that came out with the last 5 years somehow. So
as you do.
none of them been released in America. I'm
As
like,
you
what the
do.
fuck? But
So has that series taken off and like
uh,
stayed relevant over there? We haven't gotten one since Saturn, right?
360, I think, with that on Terra or whatever, that arcade port.
Really?
We didn't get it. Yeah, it was like an 360 arcade
Oh,
port.
okay.
Yeah.
Like a classic,
Uh,
360 classic thing.
yeah, but I think it was the remake of the Dreamcast one, which was like on the Ontario
Okay.
one. Um, yeah, we haven't got one in a long ass time because I missed out on the double sticks controllers that came out for the PS4 because I think they had a Kickstarter for it in Japan,
Oh,
and they're fucking expensive now to get
oh.
now. I was like, I missed out on that. They're like $500-$600 now.
No.
I think when they first came out, it was like 150 or something like that if you signed up
Oh
on the
shit!
Kickstarter.
Come on, sir. You have all the games. You need the proper equipment to play them with.
Yeah, I mean, outside of that, I mean, yeah, I don't know how I got fucking fell on that landmine, but I did. Between that and I'm playing a lot of 2D fighters, so. But I'll go more on
Virtual
that
On's
later.
good
But yeah,
stuff.
we can go into the. Yeah, I'm enjoying the hell of some Virtual On, man. I don't know why I've been missing out in my life because I think the one on Saturn is like 3.335, and you see how each one goes up. The one then it goes up to like 4.4, and then it's like I think the certain magical index one is like 6.56 or something like
They
that.
have
I
like
can't remember
official
what it was.
version builds.
Mm-hmm. Let's say expand on there. Those games are hard as fuck on a regular controller. You should know that. That one on the Saturn one is just me circling around with the AI. We're just shooting and missing each other. It's me doing that for 15 minutes. And I'm like, I guess I had to have that fucking Steel Battalion controller that they came out on the original Xbox. I guess I need that shit.
I think I have the Saturn Virtual On. It was one of the few Sega Net games because I have that adapter too.
Oh yeah, for your Duke Nukem.
Mm-hmm.
Fired up, man. We'll join in. I think you do private servers on Duke Nukem. I got one too.
For
Let's
Saturn?
go.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I think I have two Sega Net adapters. We're gonna bring back Duke Nukem Online for Saturn.
I'm not gonna get excited, but like, well, I'm in the room. I'm waiting on your
Join our
asses.
Discord. You
Let's
can get in.
go. But yeah, I mean, I don't have really much to add this week outside of what's game of the year. I mean, most of what I played this week is probably in my game of the
Yeah.
year. So
Same here. I think
we can roll the
I
dice
think all
whenever
I
you're
played
ready.
was Halo. All right, how do we want to do this? Because we didn't really iron this out in pre-production. We usually did because we did 5 every year, so we would kind of rotate out amongst there. Do we want to just kind of run down them each on our own, or how do y'all want to roll with it? I've got 5 definitive ones, and then I've got 2 honorable mentions. Can y'all?
Yeah, I've got
Brent's got
5.
5. Cesar, can you pick 5
I
of
can,
the top ones and then rattle off your honorable mentions?
yeah, I mean, if we want to go the first round, let's do our. I would say our first round. Let's all do our honorable
Okay.
mentions, and then start going from the 5, 4, 3, 2,
Okay.
1.
I mean,
That
mine aren't
makes
really
sense.
numbered though, so it's just
Well, I mean, just choose one
okay.
from your
That's
list.
fine.
I mean, I got my games of the year. That's the only ones I really
Yeah.
cared about. So,
Yeah,
but I mean, we could just choose one from the list. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to
these
be
are
number
my
5. It could just be whatever.
these are
on
my
your list.
top 5 favorite games of the year, and even an honorable mention I would throw in there. So it's not like I liked one of these over all the others.
I say let's do our honorable mentions first, and then we'll go down to the main
All right,
course.
go ahead for yours, sir. You seem to have a lengthy list.
Mine's pretty easy. I think my honorable mentions is going to be Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. That was a game I did enjoy. That I remember
Oh
beginning
God,
of the year
that came
had
out
got me
this
back
year.
into watching
Fuck.
January. That had me got back into for whatever hunger and pains to watch the anime again. I actually platinumed this one. I think it took. I sat there for 60 hours. This was my first game of the year that I played a shit ton. And instead of me doing the bouncing around every January, where I'm just popping in like a whole bunch of different games, like what do I want to play, and I'm just lost.
I think Michael was on the show when you guys were going through it and y'all were comparing notes and such.
Yeah. Outside of that, the next one would be Dreams for me. That was another one I enjoyed that also came out this year. That I still come back to
Forgot
from time to
about
time, and just kind of play the games that people made. They've gotten a lot better throughout the year. I mean, now it's like night and day compared to what was in the beginning of the year. It sucks that it's kind of fallen off on the internet, but you do find some Reddit. It's where a lot of people will point you to good games.
I love
to
the
play.
articles where it's like, can you believe this was made
adding
in Dreams? And you watch the videos and stuff. It's like, holy hell, some talented people out there.
Outside of that, the other one, the next one I'll probably go into that's not in my top 5, believe it or not, but Everybody's going to be different. Last of Us Part 2. I know that was for I don't know what reason why that was controversial for some people, but um, that was another game that was well polished. I did enjoy the story, but then again, I did go in there blind. I wasn't expecting something to happen where everybody was, so my disappointment was not there. So I don't get it, but it was
Yeah.
well done. It looks good. I did enjoy the story. But then again, I watch a lot of movies, and I've always seen movies kind of go a different path that they don't
Yeah.
tend to follow sometimes. So, but I don't know. I don't get it. Maybe somebody will explain it to me one day. I don't. I don't understand all the hate.
You got your take. You got your take from it. That's all
But
that
like I
matters.
said,
You don't have to defend someone else's opinion.
I enjoyed it. Yeah. But then again, it took me how long to beat the first game? I didn't jump into. I beat the first game on Christmas like 2 Christmases ago. So I wasn't gestating for me for like the last 10 years. But I did enjoy it. It's well made. And I did enjoy the story and the gameplay. It's one I don't like I said I beat it. I don't know if I'll go back to it, but I played it. And I played it well. The next one would be Ghost of Tsushima. That was another one that I really enjoyed. Especially the whole the Kurosawa, was it Kurosawa? Kurosawa, yeah. Influence is the biggest thing on there. But it was one of the few games that I played in that was an open world game that didn't scare me. So that I was able to go through, and I wanted to go through, and it seemed like a lot of the minor character story bits were great as well. So there was stuff in there I plotted in that one, but it kept me going to do everything I could in that game. Don't be mad at me, but Astro's Playroom gets my honorable mention. That was another good one that we've talked in length about how well that has done on PlayStation history, as well as the whole platforming aspect. It rolls well. It's just almost as enjoyable to me as it was in VR. I think the VR one still hits the top for me just because it added that new dimension and kind of used it well and gave me something different that I could play on a platformer. But don't get me wrong, the controller on there adds on there a different aspect to enjoy to that game and to bring to life, as well as 3D. The 3D audio in there is actually.
I'm sure that game will come up on at least one of the list here shortly.
Oh yeah, another one, Resident Evil 3. I know that one got a lot of hate too, because they kind of changed up the formula on it. It's not the same Resident Evil 3 I played when I played on the PS1 days. I know that game's been remade a couple of times on Dreamcast and on GameCube. I think I've only played it once on PlayStation. I went through it. I enjoyed it for what it was at the time. Going through this time and through completion, it is a little bit shorter than the original one. Just by a little bit. It's shorter by all the Resident Evils that came out recently. But I did enjoy the changes they had on there. It kind of made it fresh. They added a little bit more story in there that it was in the original games. Kind of fleshed out a little bit more because that was kind of like if you remember the development of the first game, it was kind of like an add-on to the Resident Evil 2 where they kind of just went off and made its own thing. So it was always different. It was like a black sheep of the family type of situation at that time for that game. And they kind of made it their own. Another honorable mention for me would be it kind of fell off for me throughout the year, but I did put in a shit ton of time would be Animal Crossing because I did put in 60 hours in it this year. This is probably the only Animal Crossing game that I put in 60 hours, and I've always felt like I was going through these games and like, what the fuck am I doing here? But I know it was kind of right around when the pandemic hit, and I was still trying to figure out what to do myself, so it was something I put a lot of time into it. I think I got everything done in that first season, which was spring, and subsequently fell off on the other season. So I will never be able to complete that game again unless I wait until spring of next year and then start from scratch. Which I'll decide. If not, I don't know, because if I go back in there, I'm sure all my animals or friends have already left the island. It's just going to be weeds everywhere, and nobody taking care of shit as it goes. The only other one that I could put as an honorable mention, even though it is an honorable mention, but I did put about 30 hours into it this year, was Paper Mario.
You really enjoyed that one.
King. Out of the new trilogy, this was the one I enjoyed the most. Because the sticker game was
garbage.
I did not enjoy the game.
Straight trash. I hated that game.
I did enjoy Color Splash on the Wii U. Even though it was kind of an extension of the sticker. Whatever that. I don't even remember what that game is on 3DS.
Sticker Star.
It was. Sticker Star, yeah. I did enjoy this one a lot. It seems like they perfected whatever they were trying to do, where they were moving away from the traditional one. The story-based battles were not bad. I mean, the puzzle-based battles were not bad. They did get annoying in some parts because if you don't solve them quickly, you're like, fuck, I just want to get through this battle. because they
It'll
want you to do it in a
prolong it
specific
if you
way
don't
to
do it
kind of
right.
like win you win. But story wise, it's one I enjoyed. The ending's very bittersweet. It's a little bit sad too. If you ever get to the end of it, I'll leave it at that. Like I said, this is just my honorable mentions. I'm not gonna rattle off on there. This is just one of the ones I did enjoy for this year. Let me make sure I got everything.
It's a lot of games. You said you put some in this
I
year.
think that's it.
Yeah.
I'm down to the last 5. So if anybody wants to go ahead and do their honorable mentions, go.
I've got 2, and strangely enough, everybody knows with my games of the year, it's always random shit. It could be retro, could be new, might not necessarily have come out this year. My 2 honorable mentions actually came out this year. I think both of them did. One of them I've talked about it recently, and I just haven't put enough time into it, but it's a Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remaster. That is like the best racing game I've played. It is so good. If I'm craving a racing game at this point, I'm popping that one in. The other honorable mention I have is Ring Fit Adventure. Do you remember if that came out the end of last year, maybe? Or was that this year? I know it was hard to find forever. I think it was this year. I think it came out last year. But you could actually find it this year. And I got Brand on one too. But I mean, I was heavy into it for like 3 weeks. So, and it's a new way to play games, which I'm always big on. But Ring Fit Adventure definitely had us. The household was trying to do it. It didn't go so hot. Some of my best experiences, and there's a game in my top 5 that's not my top 5 game, but the way it takes over the household, just like Mario Brothers did last year, it leaves that impact of the year. So it's a Ring Fit Adventure and Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remaster as my honorable mentions. Brent, did you have any, or are we going to top 5?
Honorable mentions. I'll go.
Games that Hulu hated this year.
Top disappointments.
Count the ways.
The airing of grievances.
No, Festivus is over, sir. Festivus was over. We missed the
I got a lot of
airing
complaints
the
about you people.
My honorable mentions in no particular order would be Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. Pretty good game. That spiritual successor to Symphony of the Night. I love Metroidvanias. Then
you sound like you should go to a program for that, sir. Like, I love Metroidvanias.
I love Metroidvanias.
Somebody on Twitter, I wish I could have captured this. Somebody on Twitter said it's called Castlevania because it's a Metroidvania that takes place in a castle. That one got me. I had to reread it like 5 times. Oh, because Jeremy.
No.
Is that like
no?
What was it? Exhibit? Was he like?
It was somebody joking, and they
game?
had tagged Jeremy Parrish in it because he's kind of been anointed with coming up with Metroidvania, but it's called Metroidvania because it's a Castlevania that takes place in a castle. What the fuck? Oh shit!
God bless
Twitter
the world.
Geniuses.
My other one would be the Super Mario 3D collection. Because it's a way to play those games all on one platform. They were pretty good ports. Even though it was just emulation, they were great. I didn't have a problem with them. And any excuse to have Mario Sunshine again, I'm probably gonna take it because I love that game.
It holds a nostalgic piece in your heart, sir.
Yeah. And then the very last one would probably be Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Not Crash Bandicoot 4.
No, not Crash.
No, that's going to be in his top 5, Cesar. It's not. It's not his
Spoilers. Oh wait. We did airing of grievance.
Here we go.
Yeah, you messed up now. Now you got grievances there, right? Yeah.
I gotta go. Now I gotta go.
The only game I regretted this year was Crash 4.
Brant's like, let's resurrect that segment.
I remember watching you before we started in the pre-show, just sitting there playing it, like, oh, this game fucking sucks. You keep going. It's like, I just want to beat this shit. Fuck this game.
We were watching you play it on that TV.
Yeah. But
you're like, oh, I'm so disappointed in you, like you're a disappointed father and a child.
I'm almost done. I just want to
be done with it. Yeah.
I just gotta be finished. But no, yeah, they did a great job reviving that series and stayed true to form. And hopefully we'll see more of the Tony Hawk series in this classical sense, not Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5.
Which was a dud.
And now we can move huge dud. And now we can move on to our top 5 games of the year. Who wants to start?
You want to go? You got us going with honorable mentions. Just one and something about it, and then we'll keep moving around.
All right, there's not a particular order, but I guess if I all right, yeah, whatever, no matter. So my first one would probably be Soccer Wars on
I remember when
PS4. It's a series I love very well. This was a reboot I love very well. I did miss that they didn't have the strategy aspect of it. They went more for the Dynasty Warriors as their gameplay development, but it does use their visual novel stance to portray the story. It was a reboot in the sense where they did kind of like a passing of a torch. I don't know if you can see behind me, but I got Soccer Wars number 5 for the Wii right there. This game takes place after that one, maybe about 10 years. They did take a character from that series, Sumeria, and used her as a branching point for the new ones, where she was one of the original characters, and she's the only one that returned. You do have some hints from the original games of some of the other people popping in here and there, but this was kind of like a ushering of a new era. So I'm hopefully looking forward to more will come out there in the future. Hopefully, outside of the cell phone ones, they announced numerous of those. I think they were very vague on it. They'd never want to overpromise they'll get another one. So it was close, probably. We'll see. But yeah, that's probably my first one of this year.
I'm going to start off with probably the least of. This is the Impact game I was referencing, but it's definitely Animal Crossing New Horizons. I think this bit all of us, Brant, a little bit harder than all of us, but
all right,
this is definitely the pandemic game of 2020. Cesar had noted when I would talk about it on the podcast. Brant, I don't think you had joined us yet, but one of my kids, they're just now getting into games, but they wanted to write me a letter with their villager, so they actually started a game, and they're not able to play it because I have to read everything to them because it's still very text heavy. But they would make me leave the room, and it would take 20 minutes, and they would type out. They would ask Alexa how to spell certain things. They would type out a message and send me a letter, and then like instead of me finding it, they would say, "Why don't you sign in and you can check your mailbox?" And just a back and forth, and it would say, "I love you, Dad," and stuff like that. So that's the best memory from that game. I know it's a great ass Animal Crossing, so there's that part of it, but it was a relaxing thing for so long, and I didn't drop it until the Bunny Day broke me, I think, and then when I had to do like a fetch quest to try to bring people in when I thought that was already going to happen, so kind of fell off it at that point. They still ask about it, so we may eventually get back in there, especially with the new content that Brant announces every other month, it seems like. So as long as Brant keeps personally producing content for it, I know eventually they're asking about it, so it's either I buy 2 copies for 2DS to give to them and appease them, or we jump back into New Horizons. So
Nintendo Selects of New Leaf. There you go.
Amiibo Crossing or whatever they added to it. Yeah, but I'm not going to deny that was an awesome game. It came at the right time. They sold a shit ton of copies. Everybody was talking about it. It was hard to find for a long time, and it's definitely one of the highlights of 2020. As shitty of a year as it's been, as Animal Crossing. So, Brant, what are you going to start off with?
Cadence of Hyrule.
That was on sale today. Almost jumped.
I guess like roguelike, somewhat of a dungeon crawler based around your our movement rhythmic movement battle. I don't know. It's one of those weird games. It's really hard to describe, but I enjoyed the first Cadence game. Extremely hard. I don't even think I ever finished it, but this game is a lot more approachable, and with it being in the realm of that Link to the Past world, everything clicks. Everything's just so good and so well done. and having the remixes of the songs, and seeing Hyrule and all the enemies and how you have to approach everything. It's a good ass game. It's a good ass game. Definitely look into
The
buying it.
animation is gorgeous.
There's a demo. I was about to say there's still a demo. Download the
I might
demo,
need to
give
do
it a
that.
try.
It's all about the rhythm. It's all about the rhythm of the night.
It's all about the rhythm,
That's a
baby.
song we could sing and not name our episode title after, so we get a DMCA takedown. Nope.
I don't know what you
What's
mean,
your next
sir.
title, young Cesar?
Mine is easy. It's one that recently just came out, maybe 2 days ago. Poured in maybe 3 or 4 hours into it, and I've enjoyed it immensely. I got a copy of each. I'll go ahead and show it on the stream. It's called Alice Day. You know how I felt about M2 trigger games.
I've seen the videos you've posted of this.
This one is a collection of the Alice Day games that came out on the Mark III. Alice Day for Mark III. There was a port that came on called Power Strike as well. I think that came out in America. That might have been the American name. And then they had one that came out for the Master System, which was also just called Power Strike 2. And then you had Alice Day for, they kind of had like a called GG, Game Gear Alice Day, which was GG Alice Day 1, 2, and 3. And the cool thing about it is Alice Day 3 is a Game Gear game that came out this year. It's a brand new game, 2020.
Huh.
That's awesome.
That was included in this collection. I love it. I love it a lot, man. I've gone through it. It's very different than most shoot 'em ups where you have different like in the first game. Each one, it's like there's a considerable slowdown in the first game, but the differences it has on there was, and you'll notice immediately. So as you do as a shoot 'em up, is that you hit your power boost, which gives you different abilities to shoot different types of guns. Be it the reason I'm talking on length in this one is because this is one of my games played of the week, so that's why. Sorry, guys, but I'll try to be brief. You can choose your different bullet abilities or special powers. And I remember from the first game is what's crazy is that you hit the houses that holds the power ups and they float up.
Oh,
They float away from you, and I'm like, I have to go up to the screen and chase it. And there's so many deaths or have. You'll notice as the collection goes on that they kind of remedy that, and now they have it where it actually floats down to you like it should. That way, you don't fucking die as you go chase after your power ups.
it's a forward shooter like Space Harrier style, right? Or like Crash.
Yeah,
Crash
it's a vertical
4.
shooter. Yeah.
Sonic's ass.
Yep. Or
Raid
Raid Project. Which also is something I played this week too. But yeah, this I'm gonna go into more detail about it. It's like you got the same kind of love you have from every other M2 one, where it has a daily challenge gallery. You can go in there and do a plethora of options where you can do unlimited continues or never lose power ups. There's different ways you can play the game to make it more accessible, safe states, low states. But I think the most impressive thing is the third game that came out, which was a Game Gear game for 2020, and it looks great, looks phenomenal, plays very well. I'm not sure if it's included in those Game Gear micros. I'm sure maybe.
I read
came
one
around
of them.
at the same
Is.
time. I
It
know
might
there
not be that one specifically.
It came with a limited edition Game Gear micro that was super fucking expensive. I didn't get that one. That I think had Alice Day 3 on there. But yeah, that is one of my games of the year.
So it's only a matter of time for somebody dumps that onto a Master System or a Game Gear cart, and we can play a physical copy. That'd be cool.
Yep.
All right, my next
Your
one,
turn,
flashback to pandemic-esque times and pre. I dove pretty hard into. I probably have 32 hours on my Switch. I probably have more hours on the Wii U this year than I did the Switch, so that's pretty telling. But I dove pretty deep into Legend of Zelda: Wind Waker, and I was playing that as an escape, just sailing the seas and being lost, going from island to island and that kind of stuff. I stopped again at the Earth Temple for some reason. That's like the bane of my Wind Waker playthroughs every time is escorting the Ritu girl through the Earth Temple every time. I don't get stuck. I just get to the beginning of it and I'm like, all right, I've seen this now, so I do want to pick that back up. I've moved the Wii U to its permanent resting place for the time being, I think. So how permanent is that? And I think I'm going to try to wrap up Wind Waker here in the next month or two. I need to finally do it. It's a good-ass game. I was sending Cesar clips from it and screenshots I would take and stuff like that, like the writing and the crazy like breaking the fourth wall stuff that you would do with Link. You don't get that in any other Zelda game, and I'm a huge Zelda fan, and it's something special. I hope we get that on Switch for all those millions more Switch players than there are Wii U players like me out there. So here's hoping for that for the 35th anniversary.
My fourth game will be a game
yes,
with
here we go.
4 in
There are
it.
your grievances.
Resident Evil 4. Let's
Final
go.
Fantasy 4.
Streets
Dragon
of
Quest
Rage
4.
4.
Tony Hawk's Pro
Dragon
Skater
Warrior
4. Super Mario Brothers
Dragon
4.
4.
Are we out? Did we run out? Seeking
No,
Densetsu
we never
4.
ran out of
Did they
fours.
make one? Crash 4.
Crash 4.
All right, Brant, go ahead with your fourth greatest game that's also a 4. Oh, yeah.
Streets of Rage
That one got
4.
you this year, yep.
Oh my gosh. This was one that we sat down and I had the family. It's also one that sometimes it helps to have other players. Sometimes it just hinders you. But it is that classic Streets of Rage gameplay. It looks amazing. You have, a lot of the characters returning. The story's pretty good. It's not a extremely long game. It's one you can probably sit down and beat within a week or so. But it is just all around. It's a great game. And I know me and the family, we had a lot of fun playing that game. And I know eventually they kind of fell off, and I just had to finish the game by myself. And it took me a minute to get that end, because and I even talked about it on here. I wound up dropping the difficulty just to beat the end. But it's a great game. I love that game. And it's just classic Streets of Rage. Classic Streets of Rage, man.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. Cesar, on to number 3.
My number 3 game is Xenoblade Chronicles Remaster.
Ooh.
Third time's a charm. Took me the third release to actually go through that and beat the game completely. I think when I was unpacking all my shit, I still have a sealed copy on Wii somehow.
Oh my gosh.
That I never got around to. I think I had a digital copy on Wii, and then I had the 3DS version, which I probably put more time in that. I think I had like 10, 15 hours before I abruptly stopped. And then this is the one that I sunk in. I think my play clock was like 100 hours.
Is this the actual definitive edition?
This is the one that I actually beat, so I guess it will be. Xenoblade Chronicles Remastered. And as I was telling Brand, I think my one for Wii is still sealed. I'm looking at it; it's still sealed. I never opened it. So this is like I told Brand, this was the third time. Third time was a charm for me to play this game, and it was a doozy. I enjoyed it. It's definitely I can see traces of Xenogears, Xenoblade. I mean Xenosaga in there. I know Xenoblade 2 kind of went a little bit more off the rails, more of a anime type RPG, but this one was very good, and I never got to play Chronicles X, but that would probably be my third game of the year. I mean, there's not much I can talk about it, but the story was great. This is one of the very few RPGs that had fleshed out the characters a lot, and the villains were great. I mean, there was a couple of plot twists towards the end that's still memorable, that I still think about. Then they went straight into the fucking Xenogears stuff, where it got weird a little bit towards the end. But it does have a twist in there where like how this all started, and it was interesting. Like I wish I could talk about it. So I don't know if you guys are gonna play it or not, but there's some bits in there where like some of those people in there were. It's like his fucking Xenogears stuff where like some of these people have been around before they were reincarnated. So like they were like scientists in past life, and they created this world, and it's like they're reincarnated into this world they're in now. So it gets deep in there, but it doesn't go off the walls, off the crazy like he normally does. He kind of reeled it in. It wasn't like a Indiana Jones 4 bad. or somebody went crazy with the story in that one.
Swinging from the vines.
Yeah. Refrigerator was okay. I was more the whole aliens thing, which was a little too far for me. I'm like, we're really doing this in the Indiana Jones universe, but I know he sees some. I mean, I know he's big into biblical references, but we went straight in aliens. It was kind of off the wall for me. But nonetheless, we can spend the whole day talking about how unenjoyable Indiana Jones 4 was, but I won't go into details about that. But yeah, that's
there's
my
your fourth
third
one.
game.
That one sucks.
Yeah, that's my third. That's my third game, and it's up to you, Richard.
Xenoblade was a good one. That's probably my most played Switch game this year, I would say. Well, probably behind Ring Fit, but when it opens up at Gower Plains or something, I got stuck. It's like I get this frozen stigma of I don't know where to go, I don't know what to do, and then these super powerful things start kicking my ass, like Xenoblade 2, kiting.
You didn't get tired of it. You didn't get tired of it. It's rain time.
It's rain time.
What a bunch of jokers.
Oh God, where are we at on this list? This is another recent one. I boldly proclaimed last week this is one of the best games I've ever played. So I was like, okay, you're going there with it. And this is Final Fantasy 15, which I'm playing the Royal Edition on PlayStation 5. And I didn't play any this past week. I got a guide that came in, and I found out there's a couple ways I've not been playing correctly. There's like some things that this shit pisses me off, but like where I'm at right now, I'm going to be wrapping up Chapter 3, and if I had chosen a different like response in the story bit, then I would have gotten like crazy experience, and instead I picked like the most bullshit one and got the most bullshit reward. So some of that stuff kind of pisses me off, but man, music, polish, production, this game is a little bit of everything. It's awesome. I can't wait to see where it goes. Final Fantasy 15, highly recommend. Brant, watch the anime, watch the movie. I'll say this every week, and then download the game.
And then buy the 4K Blu-ray.
I'm gonna end up pre-ordering that. It was good as hell. The Adventures of Noctis and Friends is quite memorable. Oh, Brant.
And you'll have to let me borrow that guide if I start playing, because that bullshit that always gets me. That's why I get so hung up, because I'm like, once I figure out that like I did a bunch of this shit, and then I missed like these two little things that I could have gotten like this crazy thing or gotten all this amount of experience. That's when I'm like, well, fuck this. I'm either gonna restart it or just stop. I'm
not gonna let it bother me, because I'm having fun, and I've already picked up on the tips that I needed. But it's like it's an AP bonus instead of an experience bonus, and it's one of those type things. Like, it's not game breaking. Gotcha. And if I had known, I might have picked something different. But I really got the guide to have as a collector's item and to look at the map and things like that, because I think that ends up being more useful, and the bestiary, to look up stuff like that. But I can't let it bother me, because I'm even worse than you. I will literally stick myself and be like, all right, I play this. I've had this discussion on the podcast. I played this game the wrong way. I'm done with it now. So I got to keep myself from doing that. But awesome game. And I'm at the edge of the story bit. I know it's going to just go fucking crazy at this point. I'm not quite ready to turn that page yet. So it'll be soon.
It gets dark. It gets dark, and it breaks your heart a little bit.
Break my heart. Final Fantasy 15. You beautiful game.
So my number 3 is one that Cesar already had brought up in his honorable mentions. Ghost of Tsushima. This game all around. Visuals, music, overall production, the story, just it hits everything so well.
They did a great job on that game. It lived up to hype.
They did such a good job on that game. And I mean, it looks so good, it plays so good, and then everything is so well rounded, because the joke was, it's Assassin's Creed set in Japan. And yeah, it is one of those. It's kind of that open world, kind of sandboxy type deal, but it's done so well, and it's so well rounded, because it's you might set off, and most of these games it's like, if it has the stealth aspect, the game wants you to lean more to that, and then it's if you do more of your where you power up your stealth or upgrade your stealth more. You know, then
Right.
the combat's kind of shitty. Or if you know, vice versa. If you focus
It
on the
can lean the
combat than
wrong
the
way and kind
stealth,
of create
you know,
a poor play style based
yeah.
off preference.
But however you want to do it, however you want to approach it, this game does such a good job, and it's very very balanced the way you do this, and just how fun it is, and just the overall style, how you can choose, you know, the languages, Kurosawa mode. The game's very very
There's a
stylized.
lot of accessibility options in there
Um,
too. I think
and
that's
then
important to mention when they're in there. Not so much for us,
yes,
but for
yes,
people who aren't able to enjoy games as easily as we are. I think that's going to be more of a focus
and then
going forward too.
yeah,
Yeah.
it should be. Um, and then really the biggest thing of the game, the character development and the story, because the story uh is one of the best, I think, um that Sucker Punch has
It's better
done.
than
um
Rocket Robot on Wheels or Sly
yes,
Cooper. Damn, I
yes.
played a lot of Sly this year
This
too.
Sly's got, you know, it's one of those, it's fun game, it's got a solid story, but it's very powerful. It's got a very powerful story, very powerful ending too. So yeah, I can't speak about that enough. I know
Yeah.
Cesar enjoyed it. I know you started playing it, but I know to you it's all about time, and something like that game, it's
Yeah.
pretty daunting, and it can be. But if you have the time, pop it in your
That's the
PS5,
way to play,
because
huh?
60 60 frames a second, and it's
Yeah.
it's so good. It's so good.
All right,
Get back into it, man.
And somehow
Assassin's
we
Creed
faster load
Japan.
times.
Yes.
Brant loved it.
I think when they looked at other developers where their games, like a lot of their games of the year, they
Yeah.
listed that game a lot.
Yeah.
That was one thing they noticed on there. I guess a lot of them were kind of jealous that they didn't make that game. It's like it was made
Yep.
by an American studio. I know that was one of
Yeah.
the things. Like, how come we didn't make this first? You know, like they're just sitting there thinking about like what,
And knock it out of the park.
you know. I guess yeah. I guess it kind of opened up their eyes, and we might see some influences coming in the future from that, because it seems like a lot of developers list that as a influence for them. So it'd be kind of
We've been
interesting to
joking a
see.
lot about Cyberpunk and all the drama that's been associated with it, and that's been like game news media here recently. But I'm glad we do something like this where we can highlight these other games that did come out this year that were just bangers. You know, that was an awesome ass game, and it's still being mentioned. So there were some definite highlights on, and Cesar mentioned like Resident Evil 3, and we got a new Game Gear game this year. So it's not all about Cyberpunk. You know, the game industry didn't live and die on Cyberpunk success or whether or not we get returns on PlayStation Store or not. You know, so
I remember we had this conversation about how our hype level. I told you that game was either going to suck really bad or really be really good, and I was right on both counts. It's really good on PC, and sucks really bad on everything else. So apparently, but
Even with all the bugs, it seems like a lot of people that are playing it, at least on current gen consoles, not last gen consoles, uh, even with crashes, even with the weird T-posing and glitches,
yeah,
they're enjoying it. And they're saying that when those graphical glitches and things don't happen and you're kind of pulled into what's going on, it's really not bad. And then the other half of it is sometimes those, when you walk around a corner and you see somebody just T-posing, or you see some guy who's like holding uh like a bazooka, and he's also holding another gun at the same time in the same hand. It just all these crazy, sometimes that makes the game. So
all right, we're
it's
back
one of those
around
weird things.
to Cesar.
Cesar.
I guess my next one on the list would be, and this is the game I'm going through right now, and I'm just gonna lump both of them together. It's gonna be Legends of Heroes, Cold Steel 3 and 4. The third one, I just finished maybe last week. I had 87 hours into it. Number 4, I'm at the very end of the game right now. I'll finish it tonight. I'm in the final dungeon. and I've already got 90 hours into it. I still probably got another 5 hours in that game. So I've effectively put almost 200 hours in these games
an
this
investment.
year. I did. Like I said, I'm glad I waited because that cliffhanger was bullshit. If I would have had to wait a year, I would have been super pissed. So I did wait back to back to finish this out. It's everything I dreamed it would be. I was a little concerned because I did see some reviews out there where they said they feel like it didn't hit because there was so much that's wrapping up throughout these 9 games that it was hit or miss. But I found it mostly to be hit. The only thing I do miss out on is in the crossbow references because we never got those games in English. And it does kind of tie out all those games together. It's done a very good job on any loose stories. It's kind of filling the gaps in here, and I think it does it well. But like I said, I mentioned before, it scratches that itch for me on basic turn-based RPGs, where you have, like I said, it's just the basic battles on there that enjoys me. If you're looking for a good turn-based game, it's like one of them. Correct. Yeah. It does follow the format where the character stories are deep. It's numerous. There's a lot going on. It implores you to explore, go around and talk to everybody to get the full aspect of the game. So for some people, a guide would be required because at least a guide will tell you, like, all right, go talk to this person. That this person is kind of like a cliff notes on how to experience the story best. Because if you go through it blind, it can be daunting. You could probably put in double the time I did because it would require you to go around and talk to everybody to get everything. Because it doesn't really point you. There's main quests that kind of tell you how to progress the story, but you miss out on a lot of the side quests if you don't look. So it's one of those ones that you might want to play with a guide. Outside of that, I'll finish it out today. That's like I said, I've always been a big Kiseke guy type of guy, the Trails games guy. And I'll probably jump back and I might platinum this one. I don't know. I gotta beat the game again in Nightmare Mode, which is probably about another. That's what it's called, Nightmare Mode. Yeah, where they put the difficulty, the bosses, and everything up to 100%. So it just all depends. That's all that's left for me to do is go through Nightmare Mode. So whether or not I do it, we'll see. It depends. It depends on whatever catches my eye. If I don't have anything in that place, but I can go on. I can talk more about it. But yeah, that's number 2 for me.
This one is not a surprise. This is Astro's Playroom. We've all mentioned this over the course of today's episode. My first platinum trophy. I'm the best gamer ever.
Yeah. A lot of gamers don't have one.
That was me. That was me until like 4 weeks ago. Man, this to me sung new hardware. Like this was, you get that new piece of hardware and you're like, okay, what can this do? And this did that up one side and down the other. It was a great experience, start to finish. We've already talked about the PlayStation history. We already talked about the awesome soundtrack. The integration with the DualSense controller really sold me on the controller. Again, my kids were able to like hold the controller when it was raining, that one level where it's raining and they felt the raindrops in the controller, and that was like a big hit in the family, like, this is amazing. So that was just a joy start to finish. Love every bit of Astro's Playroom. And I'm looking forward to, especially based off the recommendation of you two guys, Astrobot Rescue Mission on PlayStation VR. And friend of the show, Derek, he loves that game too.
It's a good game.
We're down to 1 apiece. Brent, you still have 2 on the table.
We did not coordinate this at all because my number 2 is also.
I thought you already mentioned it in honorable mention. Okay.
No, I did not. But
all right, Brent, you have to out
for the
lavish Astro's Playroom more so than I just did 30 seconds ago.
It's for the same for the exact same reasons. I mean, since I used to say PlayStation was my first grown-up console. You know, when I was a kid, but I mean, you look back on it, the games on NES and before that were pretty hard-ass games too. Those weren't kiddie consoles by any stretch of the imagination. But Astro's Playroom is just this amazing love letter to the history of PlayStation, and such an experience. And like you said, it shows off everything. It's got the 3D audio. It's got all the haptic feedback. It's got the adaptive triggers, and it shows off so much of what
Fast
that
loading.
console and the controller is capable of.
Mhm.
Yeah, the fact that like you go and stand in front of the different areas and then you walk through and it just goes and you're in the level immediately. I mean, there's no loading unless you know hit your hit up and bring the activity cards and jump to a random spot somewhere else in the game. And I mean, the screen goes black and you have the loading for a couple seconds and then bam, you're in that level or you're in that specific spot, and it's
Awesome.
crazy.
Cannot wait for
Just
Ratchet and Clank next year. Because of that
I
same
know.
fast loading and platforming and everything.
But yeah, this game, being the action platformer, being having all the collectibles, having all the different nods to all sorts of different PlayStation properties, it was just for me. It was perfect. It
Unless you're an RPG.
hit the right notes for me.
Great experience.
And it still had a reference to Final Fantasy VII at least, so it had at least one RPG in
7
there.
remake
so
didn't make anybody's list. Oh no, Cesar's number 1 hasn't come around.
The one I'm more concerned about is Wild Arms and Legend.
Give us more
Doom.
Wild Arms, you cowards.
Yeah,
I don't count Final Fantasy VII.
Right,
I'm talking about Sony RPGs.
yeah. Sony's RPGs. They should have had at least one in there. But no, that is my number 2. So we move on to Cesar and we start our number 1.
My game of the year, and I'm a cheating lying bastard. I'm sorry, gentlemen. This is not what we discussed, but I'm fucking doing it anyways because I do what I want.
There we go.
I got 2 games for my game of the year. One of them is Final Fantasy VII Remake. I enjoyed the shit out of it. I put 60 hours in that game. I still think about it. I still think about going and play it again. Friend of the show, Renee, his co-worker, when he jumped on his PS5, we looked at his play count on Final Fantasy VII. It was 168 hours. I'm like, what the fuck is he doing in that game?
What can you do?
What?
And all he told him was like, he loves that game. I don't know. He was still playing it. I don't know. He loves that game. Because I looked at it, like, holy shit, it's 160 hours in Final Fantasy VII Remake. I don't know. I'll probably, because I got to go back and beat the game hard. I might put about 100 hours in that game too, just so I can get the platinum trophy. There's nothing much that I can say. It's a new twist on how to tell the story that I enjoy. It could have gone wrong in so many different ways outside of the weird Kingdom Hearts-esque ending, but which I was fine with as well. And the ending's kind of interesting too, because you start to see the canon change a little bit, and it's going to go in a different direction. So it's not going to be like a retelling. It's kind of like their
own take,
kind of spicing it up. And which I like and enjoy. I mean, I could have gone through and played it again and enjoyed it, but I'm kind of interested to see where they're going to go with it, and it's going to be a little bit different. But I got used to the battle system, which was you can do action or you can do turn-based. I think I kept on the action. But I mean, for some people who prefer the turn-based, that option was there. Even though the open world aspect was gone, I think it was fine. Even though it was a little bit more linear. But outside of that, it is an enjoyable game. Like I said, I still think about it much. I'm not going to go into more details about it because I need to get the other game. My other co-game of the year, and Richard knows, I love it dearly, it's going to be 13 Sentinels. That game, I still think about it to this day. I can't recommend it enough. I got a couple PlayStation friends online that I've told them to go through, and they've gone through and platinum it themselves, and we would come back and have conversations about that game.
You did a deep dive at the end of one of our episodes. It's so fucking good. Giving us some plot lines.
It is so good. I mean, I know the strategy-based aspect, it was kind of weird, and some people didn't enjoy it, but I think once I broke it, and I kind of milked some of the... I looked at it and was like, okay, if I do the 4th gen models and they have drones and I know the drones fuck everybody up, I just sit there and port everything into the drones. I just blew through those areas and it didn't really hinder me as much because it didn't force me to sit there and do these battles forever like some people had to. But the storytelling on there was done with so well. I could see why this game took so long because there's so many moving parts and it could have gone wrong. It could have gone wrong in many areas. Like I said, it's very well done. They nailed it, man. Plus the 80s aesthetic. A lot of the early 90s were in there as well. The future Blade Runner-esque type backgrounds. There's a lot of nods to everything going in there. It's very well done. Very well done. It is very much a visual novel. You have to know going in there. It's not much gameplay aspects. It's not difficult like a visual novel where you have to hit certain, as what they call flags, to go into different areas and go different routes. It is very linear in that fact that where you just kind of go through and experience the story and you will go through. It's you don't have to sit there and find ways to continue the plot line or get different branches of the story. It has a story to tell and it ushers you that way. Like I said, the strategy aspect kind of like adds battle in there to kind of add little variety to the game. So for people who are not used to visual novels and they want to break. Mm-hmm. But yeah, those are my cohabited games of the year. So I couldn't choose between the two. And I think
knew
about
that
them
one was going to come back around. Both of them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. What's my game of the year? What is my most played game of 2020?
Master Chief Collection.
The game that keeps on going.
Specifically, what is it? Muskets and Action Sack.
We put it on Action Sack and let it roll. We get Fiesta, we get Hellbringers, we get Muskets. This game across this year has become like I've never had. I can remember being in games retail and there were people who would get like Battlefield or even the earlier Halos. I guess it was Halo 2 that they were playing at the time. But that would be like their game, and I never understood like how can you go back to the same game every weekend and stuff. And it was because they worked jobs that were different than mine, and they had friends that's the only way they could meet up with and things like that as those early online things came about. And for 2020, for not being able to interact, like this has been one of the big parts of my social interaction is talking to you guys every Wednesday, and then every Saturday night, myself and 3 other people minimum get on Master Chief Collection and play that one old Halo with the crazy rounds in it on Action Sack. And it's been like a grounding point for this year that no matter what, get to the weekend, Saturday night, just lose myself in like 5 or 6 hours of Halo. And it is that game like you hear about people playing Destiny and such where they're just, they're playing it and they enjoy it. It's a good game, but it's also that social aspect of hanging out and catching up and shooting the shit and having a common enemy on the other team and reading the crazy names and all that. And it's never slowed down. Like people haven't said even let's change it from Action Sack or let's go to Halo 2. It's literally been the same modes on the same game, and we enjoy hanging out together and playing, and it's just so much fun, man. I'm still enjoying it. I need to check my clock because it did not look right when I looked at it. It said 180 hours, and I'm on there once a week for 6 hours minimum, and there's no way that clock is correct. So I was also hoping that Xbox and PlayStation would do the Nintendo year wrap up thing. They used to both be really, really good at it, and it just, I guess it wasn't worth whatever algorithm they would throw it through.
Microsoft always did theirs in December. I think Sony doesn't do theirs until January.
Okay, so maybe.
Every time I look it up, they always do it in January. I could have sworn it was sooner than that, but I know Nintendo does theirs in the middle of December. And I think Xbox usually does theirs right around the same time. I don't think Sony does theirs until January.
So maybe we will eventually get one.
I know Microsoft said they were taking a break last year.
They did announce that last year.
They haven't said anything this year, so.
Yeah. I'm still unlocking achievements. We get on there and cut up, and we've built some meta for some certain maps. Like on Muskets, we just have this certain thing that we do. On Hellbringers, we have a room that we run to and try to hold, and then the other team will try to take it, and then we get it back, and it's just that back and the forth like we do at LAN parties, the capture the flag and all that kind of stuff. And it's just, what a game, man. They finally fixed it. It's still not 100%. I had a crash today at lunch because I'll play at lunch on occasion, and it's still not perfect, but it's come a long, long way. And Halo Infinite has a lot to live up to off of the legacy of how good this package is of these 4 games. And they've added 6 games now. They added ODST and Reach. So I'm gonna throw that out there as probably the best value in gaming that's ever been there. We've had Super Mario All-Stars was up there, and Rare Replay I'll tout as a hell of a collection, but Master Chief Collection, man, as long as they support those servers, and they should, because we didn't cover it in news, but in next December the Halo 360 games will officially, those servers will go offline. So, but that was a long life for them, and I'm hoping Master Chief Collection has a similar one. So that's probably my game of the year as most played and most enjoyed and was best for me to carry through this crazy ass year as it was. So Brant, if you want to take us home, sir.
My number one game of the year.
Country Roads does.
Country Roads.
Country Roads. Fallout 76.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that
was
was the
a good
game.
rendition.
That was the song.
was.
That was yeah. No,
Take
but
it
not Fallout 76. My game of the year for this year is something that you actually taught me into getting, Richard. And I think you have yet to play it.
Really? I'm a bad
Yes.
influence.
But it is Astrobot Rescue Mission. Or is Astro's Rescue
Yes, I have
Mission.
yet to play it. I think it's Astrobot.
That
That's
game-
Astrobot Rescue Mission, right? Because the PS5 one
Yes,
is Astro's
it is
Playroom.
Astrobot Rescue
Mhm.
Mission. Astro, yeah. This game is one of the best VR games that I've played so far. Being able to be in this little world with your Astrobot, and you're just there while he's running around, and you know, if he walks close to you, or if he gets super close to you, he just jumps on your headset and gives you a big old hug, or you know, as he's walking around, if he'll look at you and wave at you and stuff, and just taking him through all these different environments, and how every different environment has its own unique little theme and style. And I mean, you might be going on this beach, and then you're underwater, or you may be in like this jungle with all these ruins, and the way it does everything, because while you are there and you're controlling this little Astrobot, it still puts you in some of the action, because there's still certain things where you've got to headbutt something to, you know, activate or get through this area, or these giant enemies that come up and get all in your face, and you've got to dodge their attacks and then headbutt back to them. And it's just, the game hits so many things. And then after playing Astro's Playroom, it's made me think more and more about Rescue Mission, and how much I want to go back. And that's probably another game that I really want to go back and try and get more of the achievements, collect more of or rescue more of the little bots, because you know,
It's a world worth
8
diving
bots.
back into.
Yeah, there's 8 bots in every individual level, and I think for the most part I got all of them. There was a couple that I'd miss, one here, 2 in this one here, and you know, so I want to go back, and I want to, you know, get all the capsules and rescue all the little bots and experience it again, because it's definitely worth it. It's such a good game, such a good experience. It's probably one of the best games on PSVR.
You text me that weekend after you got it, and you were like, "Are you?" Because I told you I'll play it too, and we'll talk about it on the podcast. You text me, you were like, "Have you started playing yet?" And I was like, "Nope." You're like, "It's amazing." I know it got its claws in you. Hell yeah! There you go. The definitive games we played this year: Master Chief Collection, Final Fantasy VII Remake, 13 Sentinels,
13
Aegis
Sentinels.
Rim, I think it's called.
Yep.
And Astrobot Rescue Mission for PlayStation VR. All highly available, all fairly inexpensive still, I believe. Yeah, 30-ish max.
They've been 30 or less, yeah.
So go out and enjoy those games that we really enjoyed in this year of our Lord, 2020.
Year of the plague.
It's the year of the plague.
Year of disaster.
Ugh.
2020 the year that never be named again.
Let us all get off to a good start next year in gaming and life and careers, everything. Anything else you guys want to mention before we get out of here? I think it'd be good next week to talk about upcoming games for 2021. I think we usually do this where we kind of run down a list of titles that are coming out. Maybe. Any takers? Says our scanning the screen. Did I freeze?
You did.
You froze and broke up. We made
Yeah.
the whole made it through the whole podcast pretty good.
Until the
And then
very
right
end.
there, your
Yeah.
last few sentence there, you just got
Oh,
Uh,
no.
yeah.
Great. I got to cut it out. I could read Cesar's eyes. I can usually
You're
see it
Pixel
on...
City right now.
Do
Yeah.
what?
You're Pixel City right now.
Yeah, I could usually see when it bombs out over there on OBS, but that's the Wi-Fi. I got to stop being lazy and just run the cable through here or buy another damn receiver and put it down here. But what I was bouncing off y'all was, the first week of 2021, do we want to kind of run down the games that are going to be coming out? What we
most
look forward
anticipated
to?
for 2021.
Yeah, there we go. Cyberpunk PS5.
Official Cyberpunk release out of early access.
Early access. Somebody on Twitter said, thanks everybody for beta testing this for me. So I think that's what it should have been anyways. Moving along, we're not going to dwell on Cyberpunk. None of us have played it.
Yep, I can't talk shit about it. I think my cousin, I can see him on Steam, and I looked at it. I think he's got like 96 hours into it.
Hey.
So
Enjoying
I have to talk to him next time I speak with him to see what he thinks.
Yeah, get an impression, see what they think. It might be their game of the year for 2020. Put in the comments what your game of 2020 was. Give us some feedback. We'll read it. That'd be great. Thank you guys for joining us this week as we wrap up 2020, and we will catch you next week and next year. Bye.
Adios.
See?